So today I want to talk about the future of Elite Dangerous, where I think it's going, what I think Frontier is going to do, and the possibility of a sequel. Now before we can dive into Elite Dangerous itself and what I think will happen to the game, we unfortunately need to talk finances, as I think this is going to be a majority factor for what Frontier is going to do in the next coming years. You see, Frontier is in a bit of a rough spot right now. Taking a look at their stock price since their all-time high on January 15, 2021, they've lost almost 93% of their market value. I don't care what kind of company you're running or what you're doing. If you're a publicly traded company that loses 93% of your market value in just a few years, something's going to change. Something's not going according to plan. Looking at the latest financial report, we can see that their 2023 financial year had an operating loss of £26 million, and last year they only barely made a profit. Taking a quick look at their cash balance, it seems like they can survive another year like this before the bank accounts are empty. What does all this mean for Elite Dangerous? If I was in Frontier's place, to be honest, I wouldn't be focusing on Elite. If you ask me personally, I would love it. I hope they will, and I wish they would. But I also have to be realistic. If you look at where Frontier is right now, and if I were in their place, I probably wouldn't be focusing too much on Elite either, as much as I would want them to. What I think Frontier needs to do, and what I also think that they will do, is they need to get back to basic. They need to focus on the games that they know they're good at, and then they have had success with in the past. Not saying that Elite Dangerous wasn't a success, it absolutely has been. It's been not the most, but one of the most profitable games for Frontier so far. Now we know from the original Kickstarter for Elite Dangerous that Frontier said they had a 10-year plan for Elite Dangerous. The game came out in 2014, so if that is true, well, we are reaching the end of that 10-year plan. Personally, I don't think you can make a plan that far out into the future. And they have also a quote from their latest financial report where they say, and I quote, "After nearly 10 years since the first public beta, we have greatly exceeded the original vision for the game." Now, that's true. They have greatly exceeded what originally was planned for the game. There might also have been a few things left out from what was originally planned for the game. And especially with this quote, it doesn't sound like someone that's looking forward. It's always looking back, looking to the past. That's not something you would usually do if you have lots and lots of plans for a game going forward. Does this mean that they will pull the plug on Elite? No, absolutely not. I don't think so. I think it's very, very unlikely that we're going to see a server shutdown for Elite Dangerous. The server is going to be online for years and years to come. See no reason why Frontier would pull the plug on those. Right now they're running this aftermath story with the Thargoids. They've been doing that for quite a while. That's probably going to continue the rest of this year, maybe into the beginning of next year as well. After that, I can see them doing one or two things. Either they put Elite Dangerous into maintenance mode, they'll keep the servers online, they might do the odd community goal here and there, but we're not going to see any updates, we're not going to see more bug fixes. There might be security updates if security vulnerabilities are spotted, but that's about it. The other option is that whole feature overhaul that they have now been talking about for years. They told us last that they would give us more information at the end of this year, and we'll see if they do. And everybody's been speculating what this feature overhaul is. We don't know. We only know that there is a feature overhaul of some major feature in the game that they have been working on. Whether that has been scrapped or whether they're still working on it, we don't really know. Speculations are that it is either engineering, because a few years back there was this engineering feedback thread they did where they asked a lot of different questions about what people thought about engineering. So at least at that point I think that they thought about making an engineering overhaul. The other one that has been often mentioned is power play, as it's a very underutilized feature in the game that hasn't seen any changes since it was originally introduced at all, been a complete abandoned feature, so that would be a natural candidate also to get a overhaul and maybe to try to get some people engaged in power play as well. So those are the two ones that's likely, and if they are going down that route with a feature overhaul, I think it's going to be one of those two. But as I said, they have told us they will give us more information at the end of the year. That doesn't mean they're going to tell us what the feature overhaul is. More information can also be, we're not doing it, we're going into maintenance mode. Now, while all of this can sound dark and gloomy and grim, I think it's really important to separate Elite Dangerous and the Elite franchise as a whole. So while I agree that Elite Dangerous is in a bit of a rough spot right now, the Elite franchise is doing well, probably as well as it ever has. For newer players who may not know, Elite Dangerous is actually the 4th game in the whole Elite series of game. The first one came out in 1984, just called Elite, followed by Elite 2 in 1993 and Elite 3 First Encounter in 1995. And then of course finally the latest installment, Elite 4, also named Elite Dangerous, in 2014. And especially with Elite Dangerous here, it really helped put like space sim games on the more public radar. A lot more people are aware of the space sim and the space gaming genre thanks to Elite Dangerous. And that's also why I think that despite the decline we are seeing in interest and player numbers for Elite Dangerous, should Frontier come out and announce a new game, a 5th Elite game, I'm absolutely sure that a very large portion of that player base is going to return back and begin playing the new game if or when it came out. So of course the big question is when? When should we expect to see a sequel to Elite Dangerous? Because I have no doubt that Frontier is going to keep the Elite franchise and they're going to keep working with it in the future. If we assume that Frontier is going into maintenance mode with Elite Dangerous in 2024, they will probably spend, I would guess, 2 years to try to get the company back on track. After that, we're at 2026. I could see them start work on a new Elite game, probably behind the scenes. We probably won't hear anything at that point, but begin the initial discussions, the initial designs, beginning to get some code done. I could see that happening in 2026. 2027 would be around the time when I would expect that we hear the first news of the game. They will go out, they will officially announce it. Probably not with a release day at that point, but at least announce that they are working on a 5th Elite game. And then in 2028 would then be my expected year for a release of the game. That gives them about 2 years to develop the game from initial ideas and designs until finished game, which is about the same time they used when they originally launched Elite Dangerous. In terms of features in the game, it's very hard to guess on something this far into the future, but a no-brainer would probably be to go and take a look at what people liked from Elite Dangerous and what people were really asking for in Elite Dangerous, and try to implement that in now that you are designing a new game from scratch. So ship interiors would very likely be there. I would also expect that we will see more landable planets than compared to what we've seen in Elite Dangerous. But again, this is all just guesswork. So what I really want you to take away from this video is that while Elite might be on a decline right now, I'm pretty sure that Elite franchise is as healthy as ever. And in 5-6 years time, we might see a sequel. Let me know in the comment section if you think I'm completely off, or if you think I have some merit to my little analysis here. Comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.